Yesterday I was calling these canvases 11 by 17, but no, they're 11 by 14. And the painting is acrylic, and it's done in a very loose style. It's done impasto, which means thick paint, and it's done in an impressionistic way, so I'm not actually painting anything. I'm just putting paint on the canvas so that it looks like what I wanted, which is, in this case, a morning scene somewhere where there's a little canal and a little pathway and some trees. So it's fun to do this, it's relaxing to do this, and in the end, you see, you have a canvas that somebody can hang on their wall. So let me show you how I did this right now. Okay, good morning. Let's have some fun and paint a picture. I'm gonna take so for today we have an 11 by 14 inch canvas. It's already painted. I didn't want to waste your time by showing you this. I mean, all it is, it took like 5 minutes to paint it. It took about an hour and a half to dry. So it's the hour and a half to dry that I was trying to avoid with the camera. So it's basically just reds and yellows, and I did that because I'm going to do a landscape. Let's see if that light might be a problem. All right, let me just start with some light blues at the top of the painting. And I'm going to put this on very loosely. And if you're new to the channel, by the way, welcome. And my name is Poppa. Well, the channel is called Poppa Paints. My name is actually Larry. I don't want to mislead you. I'm Poppa because I have a grandson who calls me Poppa. And so I just like the name. I've always liked being called Dad. And then when my son had a son, I liked being called Poppa. So it's pretty simple, So what I'm doing is I'm dabbing on blue and white to create a sky, and I'm doing it over the underpainting, which is orange. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get the edges so that later on, when the painting is finished, somebody will say, "Oh, there's a nice edge on there." That's what they'll say. And that doesn't have to be perfect. It just sort of has to blend in with the rest of what's going on the front of the painting. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. Yeah. Alright, so I'm using white and blue kind of together at the same time on the brush. And like I said, just dabbing it into place here. We want this to be a nice blue sky, but it's a morning scene, so it's the sky has still got some orange and yellow toward the bottom. The problem with a white sky, I mean a blue sky and a morning sky, the problem with painting a morning sky is that the orange and the blue, from a painting perspective, often creates a green, which we don't want. A green sky. We want a blue sky at the top and an orange and yellow sky toward the bottom. So just have to be careful not to blend the blues and the yellows, because those will create a green. Alright, I think I'm low enough now into the sky that I can start adding the yellow. So I'm going to use a different brush, and I'm using relatively stiff brushes. They're kind of old and stiff, and they work really nicely with acrylic paint. So now I'm going to take some of this yellow, and I'm going to put it right about here. I kind of want it low in the sky. So I'm not going to put white there. I'm going to put this very, very light yellow, dab it in there, and create somewhat of a horizon here. And by the time I get to the bottom of the blue part, the blue part should be dry enough to not worry about mixing them. Now, if this was watercolor, now I'm going to add a little bit of orange. if this was watercolor, you'd have to really be careful, because with watercolor, the colors, of course, blend really easily. With acrylic, you're sort of a little safer, because it just adheres to the canvas, but you still have to be careful, just so you know that part of it. All right, let me just get a bunch of orange down here. And this is all acrylic paint. I do sometimes paint oil over acrylic, just to give it that oil look. If I paint with oil right out of the tube, which I do that too, but then of course that takes about a week to dry. A week, yes, it's not a fast drying medium at all. But sometimes that's you can use that to your benefit, just so you know. Okay, just keep adding this orange. I'm going to take it up, and we're going to start to lighten it with the white. You see, because then the white and the yellow and the white and the orange will meet the white and the blue, and we will have a cool and warm sky. Cool and warm all at the same time. There we go. Let's keep adding white to that. Get that light orange. Get some more of this yellow in here. Just get it very thick. The thick paint technique is also known as impasto, I-M-P-A-S-T-O, and it works really well, I think. Before there was photography, artists were hired, or whatever, employed to do paintings that looked like what we would now call photographs, or realistic. In today's world, I think artists are more likely to have the freedom of being able to make something look painterly, if that makes sense. All right, I'm going to get a different brush, and that little piece right there is where the blues and the greens, I'm sorry, no greens, the blues and the oranges are going to meet. So let's get some of this blue. I'm going to do this without mixing the colors. Just kind of blending them, but not mixing them, if that makes sense. Just grab some of this white. I try to get it into that sky there. You can hear the scratching of the brush, because the brush is a very thick brush. The one thing we want to avoid is green. There we go. Just add it in there. A little bit of blue here. Kind of an interesting shade of blue right there. Oh, I almost got some green going on there. It's not what I want. See? You see what happened there? It's okay, I'll paint over it. Or maybe it'll be a happy accident, because there will be a tree there, so maybe I don't worry about that one. And that's another thing too, there's no reason that you can't just have fun with it. I think one of the thoughts I've had about AI lately is that AI art, artificial intelligence created art, is probably, I'm guessing, I'm probably right though, it's probably being used in the commercial sense. So instead of hiring illustrators to do artwork by hand, whether it's illustrating a book or a magazine advertisement or even a map for a background of a movie. If they use AI for those purposes, then they're probably doing it to save money, so they don't have to pay all the artists. And by doing that, they have the product right away. So the end result is all they're really shooting for. They just want that end result. They don't care about the process. They don't care about happy accidents, I don't think. I mean, I just have a hard time. The whole idea of a happy accident is that sometimes art happens. Sometimes art happens. It's not just a mechanical thing. There's a spiritual element. I don't know if that's the right word, but there's a mysterious element to art. There's a human element, because with a human being putting a brush to a canvas or a pencil to a paper, that human being is going to look at it as it's happening and make decisions about where to go. Now, not if you're obviously trying to replicate a photograph, that's different. But if you're just trying to make a painting where people will say, oh, that looks like the Grand Canyon, or that looks like the place I used to vacation as a kid, or that just looks like a place I'd like to be. There's a lot of that too. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to somebody talking about a painting, not just my own, but other people's paintings, and they will say, oh, I've been there, and maybe the artist didn't even paint a scene from an actual place. Maybe they painted something that they made up. And so there is a spiritual side to it, I would say. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean to be mysterious. I'm probably using the wrong word. But there's an undefined, maybe that's the word, it's an undefined thing that happens. And also another thing about the AI thing that's going on right now is I think teaching AI in schools is probably a good thing, because guess what? Those students are going to be using that as a way to make a living, and it's a good thing to learn how to use it. However, here's my however, and I'm 70 years old, so I might be out of touch, but I do think that school is not just about learning the end result, which is what AI gives you the end result. I think school is also a place to teach students, young or old, doesn't matter what age they are, but it's a place to teach students, I don't know, the art of being human. Does that sound fair? The art of art. Just the art of being an artist and understanding. I think young artists always have this desire to make a statement with their art. Now, old guys like me, I don't really have a need to make a statement. I just want to make a pretty picture. But when I was younger, I did. I had those. When I wrote songs, I tried to make a statement, and I have some artwork also, pencil drawings, etc. Trying to make a statement. Nothing wrong with that. That's just the way God made us. So. All right, let me get another brush. I'm going to have to add some of this light blue and this orange down here, because I think I want a river here, something. But let me see if I can get some light green in there first. Just some very light green. Maybe some distant grass in there. Maybe even put white in there a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of that. A little bit of green over here, maybe. So today is Tuesday, and it's May 6th. Yep, May 6th. Yeah, that looks good. A little bit of that. Get some more darkness here. There we go. I think I'll make a right there. I'll do something. But right now, for this part, we just take some of this Payne's gray and green. Some of this burnt umber. Some of this yellow over here right now. Let's see. I can figure out a way to make this a very reflective piece of body of water right here. Get that in there. Almost treating it like water, like oil paint. Just dabbing it on very thick, very impasto. Get that orange in there. Some of this blue down here. There we go. There we go. Some of this Payne's gray and this green mixed together. Is it starting to come together for you? How's it looking? Sorry, I stopped talking. I just stopped talking. That happens sometimes. If you're new to the channel, don't worry, I didn't forget you. Just trying to establish some of these areas here. There's a car outside. It sounds like it's having trouble. I don't know if you could hear that. Alright. Let's add some yellow to that green. Make it yellow-green. Okay. Okay, now let's get some of these trees in here. These big old trees. Get a smaller brush. Yeah, this is a good one. go. Go. That side of the painting, and then this side we'll put a few trees also. Alright, there we go. Alright, now let's add some of the dark greens, and then we'll add some light yellow greens just to add some leaves to these trees. A lot of paint on the brush, so I don't have to keep dipping it in. What is this? Brown and dark blue. I want to make sure I keep some of the sky showing through. I don't want to completely cover that sky. Some of it should be poking through. Let's get some of this orange and yellow, put them together. Get some of these yellows up here. I like that way that looks like it's illuminated from the distant sun, of course. Of course the sun is distant. Using a lot of brushes today. A lot of brushes. I think it's done. I guess I should work the top there a little bit. The side. Alright, I think I'm going to call it done. What do you think? Alright. Well, there it is. And I'll just call it another morning. Another morning. Morning has broken. How about that? I don't know. I probably have a painting using Cat Stevens' song, or whoever wrote that song. Alright, talk to you later. Bye.